Today we're getting a little more constructive about the Battle of Nordvik since it's just concluded in Battlefield 2042, and we're going to talk about what could be improved overall in this event, through the gameplay, through the cosmetics, through the lore. Now, I have sung this event's praises over the last couple of weeks. I mean, I've got 3 videos over the past 3 weeks for every week talking about how I've enjoyed that week and its modes, its cosmetics, and everything it's brought with it. But there are things that I would change. So let's start with the lore itself. It was a big step up from Liquidators. I mean, we had different battles and an actual flow to the narrative over the 3 weeks, opposed to Liquidators, which just had a setting in terms of what was happening, and it wasn't really an ongoing battle. The players had no agency in the outcome of this event in terms of lore, but there was a story to follow, and you were fighting for a side. It did seem that DICE messed up on the factions on the 3rd week, but to be honest, I can forgive that. I didn't even notice it myself until somebody pointed it out, but it was just nice to have a backdrop for the battles that were going on through the lore. But going forward, I'd like to see this expanded on a little more. What I mean by that is I'd like to see something in-game to reflect the narrative going on. I mean, we were fighting over Nordvik, but it doesn't seem like the map was tailored in any way to fit the event. The event was shaped around the map for definite, which is okay, but I would like to see something, say, like the data mine squad events and squad commands that you could earn points towards. Add a mechanic like that into the event to make it stand out a little more and tie into maybe the factions that are fighting. For example, if you had these squad events like the V1 from Battlefield 5, you could have faction-specific events that players could call in if their squad earned enough points. Little things like that to tie it into the overall narrative, just to remind you while you're playing who you are, what you're fighting for, and what rewards you can get for fighting. But in terms of actual storytelling quality, I'm pretty satisfied with this event. It was just enough to keep me invested, and I look forward to where they're going to take it next. Another area I want to see improved is if they're going to focus on a map for one event, make it stand out from the base version of the map, or perhaps stand out per week. The trailer for the Battle of Nordvik showed it in a stormy setting, and I don't think that I actually got this once while playing in the last 3 weeks. I have played every day, not just on Battlefield 2042 in general, but I played the event every single day, and I don't think I've come across that stormy setting, at least not in the way the trailer portrayed it. Now, I get that it was for cinematic purposes, but it would be awesome if we got something like that next event that was reflected in game. Moving swiftly onwards, we have cosmetics. Now, I was most impressed with the first bundle they released for this event. This bundle included Liz, Mackay, a couple weapon skins. You know the one I'm talking about if you had a look in the store. It was that one, and I actually bought the Mackay gear from that bundle and combined it with the Deathbringer bundle just to give my Mackay a bit more flair. I liked the bundle that much that I bought an item from it, and that impressed me the most, but the rest of them didn't quite live up to that first week for me. But that is just personal preference. I saw a lot of people happy that Falk got a skin, that the operators that didn't get a skin before now have them for this event, and I saw a lot of people running them, so it's clear that people are happy, and to be honest, I was happy with the cosmetics released in this time too. The only negative comment I have about them is possibly the last week's free cosmetics to earn through ribbons seemed a little lackluster. It was essentially an angel skin recolored, a Mav skin, and I think another weapon skin. Didn't really stand out for me, but the other 2 weeks were completely fine, and these cosmetics are free after all, so I can't really complain too badly. They keep up the standard that week 1 introduced, and the other weeks carried through their paid cosmetics into the next event, and I think I'll be quite happy with that. Now, piggybacking off paid cosmetics and free cosmetics, I'd really like to see the teams locked to cosmetics next time. If we're going to stick to factions on either side, like the Control Corps or the Liquidator Party, have that team be locked to that cosmetics if possible in the event. I think it would make players feel a lot more involved in the side that they're on if all of the players there were put in the same skins to kind of fit the same uniform and fit into their team. This is something that I also recommended back in Liquidators. It didn't happen for this one. It'd be awesome if it would happen for the next, but I just don't know if it's feasible. And it also does take away player agency. They can't equip their own skins if they play this event, if it's like this, but it would just be really cool thematically to have the teams on either side have their own respective uniforms. Just for that event, just for that mode, I think it would add a little more grounded legitimacy to the mode if the 2 teams were differentiated that way. It would also give players an opportunity to try out skins that would be in the store that they could buy for All Out Warfare in the mode if their specialist was automatically equipped with it to fit their team. This does mean more work for the devs though, because they'd have to make a skin for every specialist for both teams, but it is just a neat idea. This next idea also may be limited by the Portal editor itself, but I'd love to see these modes get a bit more experimental week by week. It was great having 128 Breakthrough back, but it was just 128 breakthrough. I have experienced that before, not on Spearhead, but on other maps, and it wasn't really that fresh or new for me. I know it was for other players, which is why I'm not really dwelling on that one too much, but the other two modes also didn't really put the Portal editor to use. Sure, they were different, but I've seen some really creative stuff come out of Portal, and if it was officially made by DICE, they could go as wild as they wanted with the editor, because there would be no restricted XP, and it would have been playtested by them, and they'd know that you can't farm in it or anything like that. I just want to see some more creative ideas linked to these events, rather than just breakthrough and then rush at the end, or smaller conquest, or 128 breakthrough. I want to see creativity, I want to see weird modes, even if it doesn't work out every single time. But to be honest, this is another nitpick, because I did enjoy the modes on offer in this event, and they did keep me coming back for the most part. And finally, I'd love to see a bit more balancing for the modes that are put in. It's clear that some testing was done, because it wasn't completely awful, but especially in week 2, I found that the attacking team could never win. At least in my experience. I've talked to other people who said that their attacking teams did win occasionally, but essentially the mode was breakthrough and then rush at the end, but when you took a sector and breakthrough, the timer wouldn't extend, so you'd be stuck to the, I think it was 20-minute timer, and it wasn't really that feasible for the attacking team to rush through the whole map, get to the end, set off 4 MCOMs and win in the time allotted, and it was clear that wasn't really tested that much before it was put out to the public. Apart from that, the other two modes seemed to be balanced a lot better. It was just that one that hadn't really seemed to be playtested that much, and I'd like to see the balancing brought up just a little bit more for that one. Anyway, these have been my rants and suggestions in no particular order really, and I hope you did enjoy. If you've got any suggestions for the next event from you, or something you'd like to see in the next event, let me know down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and get a conversation started on what the community wants from these. If you'd like to come and talk to me or anybody else that loves this game, head over to the NoSalt Discord, there's a link in the description below. And if you'd like to brush up on any of your lore knowledge involving Battlefield 2042, go and check out the Exodus archives linked in the description below, a lore page dedicated to 2042's story with everything you need to know. Anyway, this has been me talking about the Battle of Nordvik and the future for events in this game. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.